All right, guys, let's dive in. This is just a set of practice problems with worked out solutions for you to be ready for the quiz tomorrow. Okay, first thing, you're going to solve the system using substitution. I would point out to you, because I'm such a nice guy, that if you're going to solve for that variable, don't forget it's got to be the positive version of that variable. Go ahead and pause, work through, unpause it to check the solution. I'll work it out for you, or unpause if you get stuck. Go. All right, let's dive in. We've been doing this a lot in class, so I'm probably going to do a little quicker version of it. You can pause, you can rewind if you need some help with things. I'm going to solve for x, because when I look at my y's, they both have coefficients. That's not going to be helpful. So with x, that's the easiest route to go. There is no coefficient. The 2y, if I minus off a 2y, it's going to cancel on the left, which makes it negative 2y on the right. Simple as that, it's gone. I need to solve for positive x, not negative, so if I change the signs on all three of those terms, which I just did, now I'm solved for positive x. And just to clean it up, I'll rewrite it. I've got x equals negative 13 plus 2y. Okay, next step, we just want to substitute in. We know what the x equals, so take that and plug it in right there. Okay, so there's that equation written, but I pulled out the x and in the x's place. There is what I found that x equals, and I solve my equations, if it's a multi-step like this, by number one, always distributing. And number two, by combining any like terms. So here I've got a 4y minus a 3y. That's going to be just y. I'm just bringing down everything else. And that's a positive y, so put the plus there to separate it from that other term. And right now I'm trying to shrink down the screen, and it's just not working. There we go. And our solution popped onto screen there at the bottom, so you can see if you got it right. Get rid of that 26. And we can see the y equals 5. We're not done at this point. I bet you guys are sick of hearing me say that. But once we've got the y, we've solved for the 5, we still need the x. We need the other variable. So take the y and go plug it into either of your original equations, or the best choice is the equation you solved for the variable. That's going to make it very easy. So we'll replace that y, and then we'll just solve for the x. Okay, and we found the y was 5. So just get rid of that and put in the 5. Which makes 10, and negative 13 plus 10 just makes negative 3. No real solving needed, necessary. That's why it's nice to plug in if you've got an equation solved for a variable. All you do is the arithmetic, the math on the one side, variable on the other, and it just reveals the answer to you. Okay, that's solving using substitution. All right, solving using graphing. We haven't done this in probably the past week or so. We did a lot of it previously, but then we moved to the other methods. Well, this is going to be on the quiz tomorrow, so go ahead and graph those two. And remember, the solution is the point where your lines cross. Go. All right, if we're back, remember, B is our y-intercept. That's the first point you grab out of your equation. M is our slope. That's the second thing you grab, and that's how you count to find your second point. Let's do that. First line, negative 2 is my B, which is my y-intercept, so that's where I place my first point. Then I go take my slope, M, and if it's a 3, remember you can rewrite it, make it a fraction. Any whole number over 1 is the same value, so now it's a fraction. Now I can use it as a slope. And at 3 over 1 means up 3, it's a positive number, and you always go right. So up 3 over 1. I'm going to do it a couple of times because I don't know where my lines will cross, and I want to have a lot of points available to see that later. I can even go down 3 and over 1 left to give myself another point down there. All right, that's the first line. Second line, I'm going to pull out, there's my b, my y-intercept, it's up at 5. And then there's my slope, my -1/2, which means I'm going to go down 1, and then again, right 2, always to the right. Down 1, right 2, and that's as far as I need to go because there's the point where they cross. What's the solution to my system? It's right there, I just have to read the graph. X value of 2, y value of, let's just make it legible to read, y value of 4. That's the solution to the system of equations when I graph to find it. All right, next. Solve using elimination. Oh, I can even see the solution peeking out. There you go. So you can see if you've got it right. Remember, the key here is look for that opposite pair. Go. All right, if you're back, let's see what you did and how you're gonna do. I'm gonna look at my x's, and to start off, I look at those two. Oh, a -4x, a +4x, that is an opposite pair. Those are gonna cancel. This is custom set up for me to use elimination, so I'm gonna do that. When I add together the two equations, and notice, by the way, we also have to make sure things are lined up. X's together, Y's together, constants together, they are. This is the simple version of elimination. Next week you'll have to do a little more work. They're all lined up, so my X's will cancel. Now I combine my Y's. Okay, Y and -3 is -2Y, and then 26 and -30, -4. And man, I love how simple the equation gets when you use this method. Y equals, negatives cancel, y equals 2. There we go, and what do we do at this point? Hopefully you're getting it at this point. I'm going to plug in, and it really doesn't matter which one we use. I'm going to look at them, and I'm going to go top. The reason why I'm going to pick the top is because it's just smaller values. The y doesn't have a coefficient, just seems a little bit easier, but it really doesn't matter, pick either one. So the y is 2. So now we have -4x plus 2 equals 26, and you just solve your two-step. Minus off that 2, and you have 24. Take off that -4, and x equals -6, which we can see is what we got originally. That's the correct solution. Okay, so that's the elimination method. And last, I'm going to want to see you guys be able to put it together. Here is a system, and notice the same system. That's the exact same equation. That's the exact same equation. It's the same system. Can you solve it all 3 ways? Which means down here at the bottom, goodness gracious, down here at the bottom, and how you graph it, and down here at the bottom, you should have the exact same solution displayed for all 3 methods. Now, notice it's set for graphing. I wrote them in slope-intercept because they're both solved for y. In terms of substitution, they're also solved for y. Makes it easy for that. Oh geez, I even gave it to you in elimination. Man, I made this too easy. You guys should be able to do this no problem. Go. All right, if you've unpaused, let's see how you did. You should know. At this point, you don't need to ask me for the solution. You really don't even need to keep watching the video if you just verified for yourself that you know all this. The way you know is that you got the same solution all 3 ways, and if you did, you're dialed. You did exactly what you need to. Substitution, they're both solved for y, which means I'm just connecting these two to each other. If they both equal y, you just set these two equal to each other to get rid of the y. So we've got the 2x plus 2 equals -2x plus 6. Okay? And now we just do our solving. I need to move all my variables to one side. So I'm going to cancel the -2x with a +2x to move it all to the left. That gives me 4 total x. And I'm just going to do the other step right now as well, which means move all my constants to the right. So I'm going to cancel off those constants as well. And I end up with a 4. I'm dividing off the 4 on x to see that my x equals 1. So now I just plug in to either original equation. I'll just pick the top one. And I'll plug in right there. So I end up with 2 times that 1 plus 2, which is 2 plus 2, which is 4. So my y value equals 4. So for substitution, I've got 1 comma 4. And if I do it right, I know exactly what I need to see for my other 2 solves. Let's see. First equation, plus 2 as I graph it is my intercept. And my slope, I'll make a fraction 2 over 1, which means up 2 over 1. And then I'd keep going up 2 over 1. And I don't know that I gave you guys enough room to graph this. Let's see. Second one, plus 6. I totally didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're about up here somewhere with a negative 2 slope, so it's going to be like down 2 over 1. Sorry guys, total flub there. You're just a little bit off the edge of the graph, but hopefully we can see I've got an x value of 1, and I've got a y value of 1, 2, 3, 4. And hey, it worked out. I've now solved my system in graphing as well, getting the same solution. Elimination. I'm going to combine these two as long as I've got an opposite pair. And when I look, I do have my x's lined up in an opposite pair. Y's are also lined up, constants are lined up, so they're ready to combine. Those cancel, and I end up with y plus y is 2y equals 2 plus 6, 8. Divide off those 2's to see that y equals 4. And then plug into either original equation and get my x. I'll use the bottom one. Y equals 4. So then we're at 4 equals negative 2x plus 6. And you're going to have to do some solving to finish this guy. Remember, you got to show this stuff on the quiz tomorrow. Since the first method gives you the solution, you can't just use that solution when I ask you a problem like this and be done. You have to show me through graphing. You have to show me through elimination that it's the correct answer. If you stop short, you're not going to get the points. I want to see that you know how to do it all 3 ways. And we can see there, x equals 1. And here we go, 1 comma 4. I got all 3 ways. All right, good luck. See you guys tomorrow.